Oh man, browsing the internet sure is fun, but I wish I had some music to listen to. Hey, somebody sent music. I got some. Yeah, that was me. Try this. Oh, Garden Sound? Oh boy, this music is great. Yeah, Garden Sound's music's the fucking best, you big dummy. W Part 3 is out right now. Go to my website and buy it if you want to support the show. Hey everybody, welcome to Garden Sound 365. My name is Garden Sound. This is the show where we write music every day for a year. So today and tomorrow are going to be another two-part episode. And it's going to involve mixing and mastering, yet again, but with a focus this time on a different type of music. This type of music that we're going to be mixing and mastering is trap music. And I don't mean trap music like hip-hop trap music, I mean trap music like the EDM trap music. The first stage is making a trap tune, so I'm going to get started on that here. We're going to have a little time lapse going. Way too much coffee today. Oh my god, so much coffee today. Alright, yeah, so let's just jump right into it and get making a track. I'm going to go make a track. everybody. So I've got my track all laid out. It is complete. What we have is just a basic trap track. I mean, I'd say that took me about an hour, hour and a half. I didn't spend too much time on it. I went in an interesting direction with the lead on the drop because I'm a fan of this band called Moom, which is spelled M-U-M, and they use that kind of repeated pattern stuff on a lot of their tracks. So I went a little bit experimental on this, so a little bit of grace please, but the mastering and the mixing, I mean, that's going to remain the same. Whether or not the track's a bit weird, like mine, or if it's more standard EDM stuff, you know, either way. So let's do this. I'm going to move my loop braces, all right, over to the chorus, because I know this is my most intense part. And I'm going to mix this first. I'm going to do the same thing I did on my house track, where I'm going to grab all the tracks and spread them out just a little bit. All right. And then I'm going to grab everything and I'm going to take the faders all the way down to 0. Take it all the way down to 0. So now, if I press play, I shouldn't hear anything. Yep, I don't hear anything. That's good. So now what I'm going to do is start to bring things in from the bottom up. Now, when I say bottom up, I mean starting with the drums. I'm actually not going to bring the sub in first. The reason for that is because my sub is sidechained to my kick. So if I don't have any kick, I actually can't mix in my sub accurately. So we're going to go ahead and bring in the kick snare channel I have, which only contains the kick and the snare samples. And I'm looking to bring this in until the master meter tells me that it's between -8 and -9. I'm going to zoom in on this mouse over here so you guys can watch me bring this in. That's pretty good. Now I'm going to add a little bit of parallel compression via my A send return track. Good. We're still solidly between -9 and -8 decibels. That's exactly where we want that kick and snare to be. Now, I'm going to bring in my auxiliary 1. The auxiliary 1 contains several samples, so I might actually need to mix these a little bit better. These are from the Apache sample track. It's from his first sample pack that he put out maybe 2 years ago. Some of my favorite samples to use. Just making small adjustments here. Alright, now I'm going to bring auxiliary 2 in. This contains stuff from Lex Luger's sample pack, which everybody who's ever heard a trap song is going to recognize. Now this particular channel I'm going to give some reverb to because I want these guys to sound like they're in a room. Good. Now that everything's been pulled in, I'm going to re-level it a little bit because now you can see on the master channel we've started to peak out around -6 and that's too loud for my percussion. Much better. Alright, so my percussion channels are all leveled out. Now I'm going to start to bring in the sub. I cheated a little bit. I already knew about what level I wanted this to be at, -9. That's actually perfect. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to bring in my horns next, okay? This is just to taste, okay? There's not a specific level I'm bringing this into. Good. Now I'm going to bring in my melody, the little bleep thing that I made in Steam Pipe. That's far too loud. Let's bring that down to maybe -6. Good. Now something I like to do, especially with the kick and snare, is a little bit of EQ work, alright? Now this doesn't normally go in a mixdown, but I'm including it in this particular version of my mixing tutorial because I want you guys to see that it is important to do a little bit of EQ work on samples sometimes. I don't think Apache got the punch 100% correct on the kick and snare. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of EQ work to make this pop a little more. I'm going to increase the, with a, just a little bit, around 120, the little teeny bump here with the Q. There we go. Alright, and another bump around 1500. Yeah, you might not be able to hear it on the microphone, but it's definitely cutting through the mix more. Now, for the snare, I'm actually going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to give this, oops, wrong point. Give this a little bump, and let's see here, 120, and another bump right at 1000. Good. Now I'm going to put this snare drum through a little bit of reverb. And for that I'm actually going to use a preset from Ableton Live. I'm going to be using the Drums Room reverb. I'm going to cut it down to maybe halfway. 23%, that's good. I gave a little bit of EQ in the high range. Okay, that's going to be good for me. Alright, now my entire mix is floating around -1.24. That's a little bit loud. I think part of it is due to the fact that this bleep melody is still too loud, especially in the higher register. So I'm going to take it down 1 more decibel just to be safe, and then I'm actually going to take the entire mix down a number of decibels so that it peaks around -4. Much better. And I forgot to mix in one track, my incidentals, which is my funny horn meme that I put in here, and a burp from Curry Sauce and Garden Sounds Essential Water Drop Collection #1. which is an unreleased sample pack that I'm going to be putting out later. It's totally a joke, but I really am going to be putting it out, so keep your eyes on my channel. Here we go. We're going to bring these up. Probably negative, I'm just going to guess -4. Let's see what we got here. Correct. Now I'm going to add a little bit of reverb to those just to make them even funnier. For reverb here, what are we going to use? I think I'll use Ableton's preset 6-second delay and just barely put it on. Boom. And we are done mixing. Tune in tomorrow to hear the full tutorial on mastering this particular track. This beat, as well as others, in the description down below. My name is Garden Sound. Have a nice day. I'll see you tomorrow.